Uh, so today we are joining for the 12th session of Fridays with Dowles. In today's session, we are going to have a presentation on pneumonia as an acute disease and its homeopathic management. Uh, Pneumonias. When does a homeopath get an opportunity to treat this type of cases in this era of antibiotics? Uh, Fortunately, I had these opportunities in my practice, and I'm going to share a few of these experiences with you. In this, what we will understand is how to recognize an acute disease, how to understand their relationship to the vital force, that is the individual's host susceptibility, how to recognize the causative and the aggravating factors, both the internal and the external, what is the meaning and what is the process a physician undertakes when he constructs the acute totality, and how to decide about the remedy selection, posology, and plan a desired outcome. Desired outcome in the sense, cure of the acute disease. So first, what we will do is, I'll be presenting to you the three cases in two parts. In the first two cases, we will try to derive the general concepts of what we mean by acute disease. And in the second part, we will see the application of this concept in managing these cases. So the first case is of a 13-year-old boy who came with complaints of recurring respiratory infections since last few years. In the presenting acute episode, when he comes, he has sneezing for last 5 days and deep cough with expectoration and no history of fever. From the ODP of the complaints, means considering the past episode and the current episode had started in the rainy season, that is from change of weather. But his earlier complaints were also more severe whenever there was a change of weather during the winter season. The cough is more in the daytime. It is aggravated also by oily food and better by warm. He has a past history of tonsillectomy for these recurring episodes, which was done at age of 9 years. And he had an episode of severe acute bronchitis, which lasted for about 15 days when he was 10 years old. And since then, these complaints are going on. He is chilly, and on examination, we have the nose hypertrophy turbinates and congestion in the throat. And on examination of the respiratory system, we had respiratory bronchi. So the first step is to make an accurate diagnosis of the acute state. Now, means considering the presenting complaint, the type of the cough, and the presence of bronchi, this episode is of an acute asthmatic bronchitis. So considering the type of the cough, the modalities of the earlier acute episodes, a spongia was given 200 QDS on 5/8/2003 when the case was screened. After 3 days, the case was defined. The constitutional remedy also was decided. But if you see the response to the spongia, we see the cough is partially better. The expectoration has become yellowish white, and we see a new symptom of chest pain while coughing. And also, the shoulder pain had come up and now it is reduced. And on examination, we see the findings are same, the respiratory bronchi. So what we see with spongia is, though we have prescribed spongia, it has not helped. So there is a partially similar correspondence. So the physician had decided to wait. After 3 days, the patient comes, where we see now there is a change in the picture. The cough is in the daytime, not in the sleep. The sneezing continues, but the chest pain and the shoulder pain which has come, it has gone. So here we are able to see the same symptoms are coming and going, but the diagnosis still remains same. Considering and revising the totality, Hiparsurf is prescribed. Now what we see on 15/8, now first time the fever is coming up, and the fever started in the evening and persisted till whole night. The range of temperature was around 100 degrees. Here you see the new symptoms of weakness, dryness of throat with increased thirst, and the cough. Now the deep cough the patient and his mother has reported it is a barking cough, and the chest cough increases with fever. The chest pain is not there, and the RS findings remains the same. So now how do you assess this response of the last 10 days? What is happening in the case? So it is important because now, first of all, we had to establish the clinical diagnosis. Apparently, the diagnosis appears to be same, but the onset of fever is an alarming thing. And also, we had a symptom of chest pain while coughing, which has come and gone. So, what is the significance of this? So, we will now try to analyze what is happening from 5/8 to 15/8. We see an acute episode of recurrent asthmatic bronchitis which has lingered and progressed. We have introduced partially similar medicines, Spongia and Imparcel, and this onset of fever with new characteristics and generals and change in character of cough indicate a worsening susceptibility, and it indicates there is some superadded infection, and homeopathically also this may demand a new totality. So now when we try to make an analysis of this totality and try to evaluate the available symptoms, and obviously the patient was advised an X-ray, and it showed a pneumonia in the left mid zone and the pericardiac region. Now if you see the totality, there are three physical generals. Thirst increase with dryness of throat in fever, teeth grinding sleep during, and weakness gradually increasing with fever. The cough has a definite time modality, aggravation daytime, aggravation evening, the food modalities. Here you see a gradual pace where you saw a lingering asthmatic bronchitis, now having a presentation of pneumonia and the left-sided affection. So with this, on repertorization, we are able to get the remedies like lycopodium, phosphorus, silica, and arsenic. Now here you see how far the earlier actions of Spongia and Imparcel are. So these were partially indicated remedies and they have not helped. In fact, the patient has worsened. So considering the repertorial picture, the chilly patient, the type of cough, the aggravation of fever in the evening, and the daytime cough, this patient was prescribed phosphorus 200 4 hours. And immediately after prescribing phosphorus, we are able to see the temperature range which has come down. We are able to see the cough which has ameliorated. There is no expectoration. The expectoration which was greenish yellow has reduced. The weakness remains same. The thirst is there, but the desire is reduced and the teeth grinding continues. And we also have the CBC findings and the X-ray findings. So considering this, phosphorus has definitely registered, but we are not able to see the response of the phosphorus on the generals, but on the sector there is a definite response. So we have gone to phosphorus 1 4 hourly by increasing the potency. And after increasing the potency, immediately we are able to see there is an amelioration at all the levels. The temperature has, after 2 days, it has come to normal. So within 48 hours of starting phosphorus 1 we are able to see an overall improvement in the condition. Gradually, the repetition of phosphorus is reduced, and on 22/8, the patient was prescribed his constitutional medicine, which was defined on 8th. He was given Calcarea carb, and subsequently the patient has done well. So what we learn from this is, at the level of the disease, from the homeopathic perspective, we are able to see how an acute episode of a recurring periodic chronic disease, which has progressed to present a new acute disease. What we see in assessment, importance of perceiving the totality, identifying a partial remedy and its partial action. Here we saw the physician was slow in appreciating the pace, the clinical state and the susceptibility, but appreciating the emergence of the new disease and immediately correcting the totality and the posology gave the desired outcome. So what we learned of timely updating the clinical diagnosis, application of concepts of symptomatology in erecting the acute totality. We saw the importance of the concomitants, the generals, then the characteristic particulars, and then the location. and application of concept of susceptibility and sensitivity in determining the posology, and remedy response evaluation, its immediate update in decision making in clinical practice. So with this experience, now we go to case number 2. This is also a case of a 13-year-old girl now. Earlier we had a case of a boy. This girl also had come to us with complaints of in the past 3 months, which have been treated with antibiotics. Some characteristics in this picture are available with respect to crankiness during the episodes, fever, cough, and vomiting. And this girl also had a history of pneumonia in the about 6 years ago. And since then, she has been having recurrent respiratory infection once in every 2 to 4 months. But the last 3 months have been bad for her. Now we come to the presenting episode. In the presenting episode, she comes to us on 29/11/09 with a sudden rise of temperature of 104. She receives Nimesulide 2 doses and paracetamol. She comes with a symptom of cough, headache, body ache, red lips, nausea, and bitter taste, and a reduced thirst. On examination, we find the throat is congested and the tongue is coated white with a temperature of 104, pulse rate of 120. Her weight is 30 kg. No significant findings per abdomen and RS. So with this presentation, we diagnose this as a case of acute pharyngitis, a case of a sudden onset. And with the characteristics, the patient is prescribed belladonna 204. Now, when we see what happens next day, the patient reports the fever has increased in the night. She had a frightful dream. Before going to sleep, she had seen a movie. And in sleep, she was laughing and talking with eyes wide open and a staring look. This was reported by her parents. This episode lasted for 5 to 10 minutes, and then she slept after cold sponge. Once she had vomiting of cough with blackish expectoration and nausea. Rest of the findings were same. Tongue coated. The temperature today was 102 and pulse was 110. Now, what do we make significance of these symptoms which we saw during the sleep? Has our remedy acted? Or what is happening to the patient's response to the disease? Here we see the disease has progressed with evidence of a central nervous system excitability. We are having new symptoms of a frightful dream, delirium, laughing, talking, with eyes staring wide open. The susceptibility has heightened, and definitely the remedy which were prescribed on the objective parameters of redness of face and all, it is not acted. So this demands a new remedy. So the totality is revised. Delirium, frightful fever during, delirium, laughing fever during, talking fever during, eyes staring look, red lips, thirstless, bitter taste, nausea, body ache, and headache. So here we are able to see a plethora of concomitants of fever and with a characteristic symptom of headache with cough. So this is a repertorial syndrome and a repertorial result. We are having remedies like belladonna, stramonium, hyoscyamus, Riparsal, veratrum, album, and aconite, which are coming in the top post. Now we have seen already we have given belladonna, and we have seen the case has progressed further. So with the picture of the delirium, the sleep talking, and the experience of fright which she had after the movie, stramonium is most. So here you see after introducing stramonium, the fever decreased in the evening after 4 doses. Vomiting once. Then we also have the blood picture and the X-ray picture showing pneumonitis. Now this girl had a history of pneumonia in 2003, and also in the past 3 months she had LRTI, which was treated with antibiotics, and which was obviously the susceptibility had not been totally settled with this. And on this now we are having a current disease of pneumonitis. And we when we continue stramonium, we see one episode of fever coming at 103, but subsequently we see there is an amelioration, an overall amelioration. The cough becomes rattling, the paroxysm every half hourly with expectoration, but the patient gradually settling. And on 3-9, we are having an overall improvement at the level of the sector as well as the generals. And this case was also subsequently defined, and she was given Calcarea fast as a constitutional remedy. So what we see in this case is value of concomitants, the importance of prodrome in remedy selection. We saw the delirium which was coming in the initial stages before the picture of pneumonia settled. The second important learning was this Stramonium materia medica. I was that point of time, not very sure about whether Stramonium has an action on the lungs and the parenchyma. But Herring's reference to Herring's guiding symptom gave that confidence to prescribe Stramonium in that case. And this case also confirms the learning of one of the masters who has written a treatise on pneumonia. Similimum will cut short any disease at any time and will cut short the course of disease. Here we saw, we prescribed Stramonium on first and on third we are seeing an overall response. So within 48 hours we are able to see the response. When the X-ray was available on second and third, we are seeing the patient clinically significantly improving. The case has actually responded within 48 hours. So don't get panicky if you have the concomitants with you. So what we see in homeopathic, in our OPD practices, from homeopathic perspective, pneumonia have to be understood as an acute disease of a sporadic type that occurs occasionally in scattered population. This is an acute inflammation of the lung parenchyma, which is a response to the microbes in a susceptible individual. We saw both these individuals were susceptible to the LRTI. The damage to the lung tissue is a result of an immune response and release of toxins which interferes in ventilation and gaseous exchange. Now, lung being one of the vital organs responsible for vital function of respiration, we have to, as a physician, it is of paramount importance, we act promptly in vigilance and care and all that human, in clinical as well as homeopathic in the welfare of these patients. In both the cases we saw, in the first case, the physician was slow in picking up the diagnosis, but once you find the right remedy, I think the response is prompt. So finding the right remedy and assessing its response in the first 24 to 36 hours is of paramount importance in the welfare of the patient and definitely. So from what we conclude from case 1 and 2 is, recognize the change in symptoms, the localization, the sector as early as possible. Identify the generals, the characteristic symptoms in evolution. More the symptoms are away from the diagnostic symptoms, more their value. What we saw in the first case in terms of the symptoms of the nervous excitability, in the second case, and in the first case, we saw the symptoms of the thirst and the weakness, which came up, which came up much later in the case. And in the first case, we saw to recognize the environmental factor, that is a change of weather. And in the next case, a previously lingering, partially treated acute, where the patient had received antibiotics, it acted on the morbid susceptibility and how pneumonia developed. So when we are going to evolve the acute totality, the most important thing is identify the characteristic symptoms. In that also, the concomitants are more valuable than the modalities. The modalities are more valuable than the sensations, and sensations are more valuable than the locations. And obviously, the dictum generals are more important than the particular. And of course, inferring the susceptibility quantitatively and qualitatively is of paramount importance in managing the process. So now we come to what Hahnemann has said in acute diseases. They are morbid processes initiated by an abnormally deranged vital force, as we saw in both the cases. They have a tendency to finish their course quickly. Rather, they are self-limiting, resulting in recovery or death. Recovery if instituted a proper homeopathic simulation in right time. So these are the fundamentals of acute prescribing, where we saw the latent SORA, the latent morbid susceptibility in both the cases. Both the cases were of the sporadic type, where immediately after in the acute exacerbation, after instituting the acute remedy, we are able to see both the cases return back to the dormant state when we prescribed their constitutional medicine, which was defined after the case taking. So we conclude that acute and chronic diseases are a continuous spectrum of a delayed vital force and not two separate diseases. So this we have to keep in mind. Apart from defining the acute totality, we have to also diagnose the underlying susceptibility, the underlying constitution. So any change in the state of organism is recognized by symptoms. The change in intensity of symptoms in a chronic case or development of new symptoms in a chronic case or an apparently healthy individual. We saw both this in both the cases. In acute disease, the constitutional symptoms are thrown in the background and the vital force under the impact of positive factors brings acute symptomatology. And after acute symptomatology is treated adequately by indicated remedy, the constitutional symptoms appear and they have to be given to prevent the relapses. So this is what we conclude in the part 1. In the part 2, we will have the recap of the concept of acute diseases and application of Borland's principle in case number 3. Thank you very much.